Good afternoon. Today we are going to review Chapter 10, Promotional Mix Elements. When we're looking at this idea of promotional mix elements, we look at the product life cycle again. In the information stage, we want to be informative. We want to make sure our advertising, or at least our communication, tells us what the product is, where we can buy it. Because it's in the introductory stage, there's not a lot of competition, and we don't have a lot of awareness because there's no product to be associated with. In the growth stage, we want to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. In the maturity stage, now we have a lot of competitors, and the market is saturated. So for us to increase our sales, we need to steal it from somebody else. And the decline stage, advertising budgets are normally cut. So the purpose of advertising, and we're going to look at each one of these promotional mix elements a little bit differently. First one is advertising. And advertising, again, is that paid one-way communication. Advertising does a great job of building awareness and equity. It does a great job of distributing communication messages to our target audience. It does a good job of promoting sales, but the sales tends to be lagged, meaning we can drive people and tell people that there's a special going on, or we can inform people. However, the sales really is a trigger underneath a different element. We can influence consumers. To be effective, the communication must be relevant, where the target audience sees the purpose, it's original, that it attracts attention to it, and it's impactful so we remember it. Think of all the different messages that you receive in a day, whether it's traditional broadcast or social media, and you can begin to appreciate how difficult it is for any one message to break through and have people remember what it is. Our strategy, thinking strategically. Has our audience been identified? Can it be described? Have we broken that person out to give them a name, to give them where they live, what their demographic is, what motivation they have to consume, what type of media do they listen to or watch or be attracted to? How does advertising mix with the other promotional mix elements in terms of budgets and in terms of strategic impact? Are the objectives sales oriented? If they are, maybe advertising isn't the best manner for us to do. Are they communication based? Do we need to increase awareness or increase our brand identity, in which advertising would make a great tool for that? What is the budget? If we have a very large budget, we can go television. If we have a very small budget, we'll have to do some other things. What exactly are we trying to do with our strategy? Are we looking for reach or frequency? Reach is the number of potential consumers that we reach with our communication. If we are trying to reach everyone on a college campus, we could take an airplane with a banner behind it, fly it over around noontime. Everyone in campus would see it. That's a very large reach. The reason why people spend a lot of money and the Super Bowl can charge a lot of money for advertising, or the Academy Awards for advertising during their telecast, it reaches a lot of people. FIFA World Cup reaches billions of people worldwide. Frequency is the number of exposures that each consumer gets. If I wanted a high frequency, I could put a message on a billboard. I'm not going to get as many people as I would in television, but I'm going to get the same people every day driving to and from work. So I'm going to increase the frequency. Reach should be stressed when we're introducing something to a target market, or if our message needs to be seen by a very broad number of people, maybe a mass market. Frequency should be stressed when the information might be confusing or complex and you need to see it a few times to really understand it. Or if brand switching is taking place, so we want to have people top of mind. Our objectives should be smart. They can either be sales oriented or communication based, but we do have a lagging effect. When we advertise something, it's going to take a while for a person to go to retail and purchase it, especially if they already have that product in stock at their own house. So attitude we can increase in a number of different ways. We can increase the image through advertising very well. Our creative strategy, especially when we talk about it within an advertising complex, is how do we develop the message properly? We want to make sure that it's simple, it's basic, it's appropriate for the target audience. It's not too complex. We want to have one unique selling proposition, a USP. What is distinctive about this brand? What one message point do I want people to remember? Because oftentimes we have so many different messages, it's going to be difficult to communicate a lot of information to a potential consumer, certainly if you're only receiving it once or twice. When a creative execution is disconnected from the company, any potential benefits rapidly disappear. For instance, every year after the Super Bowl, there's a discussion through USA Today and some other media outlets of what the best ad was. And typically, we see the information here as most entertaining. We'll see descriptions on the best ad was the little boy trying to start the automobile and his dad had the remote starter and the automobile came up. That was a wonderful advertisement. Everyone felt good. The kid was cute. It was very well done. But then the question would be for best ad, what was the brand? What were they promoting? And most people say or identify that it is a car company, but may fail to remember that it was Volkswagen. Unless we're driving people to watch that commercial again and again and again and develop the idea that it's Volkswagen to this ad, then the term best really doesn't apply. On the flip side of that, when you say what was the worst ad, oftentimes you'll hear things like the Doritos commercial or the Wendy's commercial or the blank commercial. If I'm remembering the brand, haven't I done my job? Do I need to entertain or do I need people to remember the brand name? Now, if it's bad because or the worst because it's not entertaining, that's fine. If it's worse because it's putting somebody off or creating a barrier, then that's a different issue entirely. When we develop this creative strategy, we can look at a number of different areas. A kind of a value or an image transfer umbrella advertising, associating yourself with excellence or a halo effect of someone's image is going to transfer to you. A fish out of water where the athlete is identifiable but not within their expertise. Maybe we see the advertiser, and a lot of these aren't mutually exclusive. We'll see multiple ones. We see a lot of honest twist or slice of life where we see the athlete advertiser doing things that we do in normal every day. We see the link on here shows athletes training and running. Not necessarily something we see all the time, but we notice that tennis players, basketball players, and all that do run to get in shape and to keep their high fitness. Well, that's kind of a life cycle. That's kind of a slice of life as well. We can see an athlete as a spokesperson where they're perceived credibility if they're talking within their expertise. A creative element may be just informational, where we just say event time, date, location, information on parking, information on tickets, where we're not doing a lot of brand image, but we're doing awareness specifically about this type of event. So what strategy do we want to deliver that communication piece? We also want to look at the media. What choice of media is important, whether it's broadcast or print or new media. And we start talking about new media, we really want to break it out into each specific platform because new media is not necessarily anything brand new, the concept of it, but we really want to make sure that we're using each platform effectively. We want to, how do we do the media in terms of the schedule? A continuous schedule is where we advertising consistently throughout the year without a lot of ups and downs or ebbs and flows. A flighting schedule is where we may emphasize it at particular times during the year, but we're always spending something. Maybe we ramp up our soda advertising 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Christmas, New Year's, but we're doing some advertising the entire time. Pulsing is where, that was pulsing, where it's never zero. Flighting is where we advertise and then we'll cut it down to zero sometimes. Flighting and seasonal can be very similar. Maybe our sneaker advertisement we do beginning of the year, school year, we do Christmas and we do something around spring, but then we drop off to zero sometimes to make sure that we have enough money to spend the other time because it's not effective. A seasonal schedule, in the wintertime, we'll see a lot of beginning aspects of some spring sport. In the fall or late fall before snow season, we see a lot of ski, because we want to get that up and going before the season begins and just as the season begins so that we got people top of line and they can go and purchase. different types of media that we use in sport, signage, whether it's dasher boards or on the athlete or on the car or um, outfield signage. We're seeing endorsements and sponsorships. Endorsements, we're looking in sponsorships, credibility and expertise. If we're using an athlete, we certainly want to have some sort of credibility, some sort of expertise built into it. Attractiveness, we want people to see a similarity, a likability, an identification with the athlete or the situation so they can internalize it and say, I can put myself in there. I should buy those sneakers because I play basketball too. And there's an association between the athlete or the sponsorship and the brand. We're going to look at print media, newspapers, magazines, schedule cards, handouts, posters, electronic media, television, radio, internet, out of home, billboards, blimps, and buses, and we'll evaluate them, strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons. So for a magazine, the advantages are highly selective. We look at magazines or their internet equivalent. When we look at these things, we're also looking at the equivalent website of them. Very selective, meaning if you like scuba diving, you can get a scuba diving magazine. That because you get that, you have high consumer receptivity and involvement. If I'm selling fins or dry suits or wetsuits or a regulator or masks, and I have a very complex informational piece of advertising and I put it on that website or in that magazine, people will spend time to read it because they're interested in that activity. I get quality reproduction, creative flexibility. I can do a lot of things in a traditional magazine. Quarter page ad, full page ad, fold out, scratch and sniff, some sound. There's a permeance to magazines where if you are a runner and you get Runner's World magazine, or if you are liking college basketball and you get the college basketball preview magazine, you tend to keep those magazines for a couple of weeks. When you open it up, next time you see it, you see the ad. It's still working for you. Some disadvantages, it's very costly. You need a long lead time. If you want to put an ad in the Super Bowl edition or the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, it takes a long time to book that time and then also to get your ads, your creative elements done, your photographers, your actors, your set dressers, all that stuff. It takes a long time. Whenever you see selectivity, flip side of that's limited reach. Because I'm only going to get scuba divers or runners or college basketball fans, I'm not going to get a whole lot of people outside of that target audience. Newspapers give me an extensive local penetration. If I want to break out my market based on geography, the local newspaper or the local newspaper on-site equivalent generates a large percentage of the population. I'm also accepted in it, especially if it's the Sunday paper or your best food day paper. People expect a lot of ads. In fact, people buy newspapers because of the ads. Our Sunday papers are still driven because of the ads. It's a low cost. If I'm a small company and I don't have a big art department or any art department, a newspaper can help me with the copywriting and art services. Disadvantages, poor reproduction. It's gray. The ink smudges. It's black and white. It has a short lifespan. Unlike the magazines that you can pick up a couple weeks later, even if you didn't read yesterday's newspaper, if you see it's yesterday's and you didn't catch the news, you may not read it. Lack of selectivity, a lot of clutter, a lot of negatives to newspapers, although you have that great bonus of geographic selectivity. Television gives me creative flexibility. I have sound, I have motion, I can demonstrate things. I have lots of coverage. I can do some selectivity based on some of this narrow casting ideas, with all the different cable channels. Or I can find a property that allows me to get a lot of coverage. A Academy Awards or a Super Bowl or an NFL game gives me national coverage. Some disadvantages, very high costs, production costs, airtime. In order to get this out, it takes a long lead time. It's a fleeting message. Aside from zipping and zapping through commercials or going now to other types of alternatives like Netflix or Hulu, which can get rid of the ads completely. It's a fleeting message. If I get up to use the lavatory, go to the kitchen, I can't see that ad again. It's gone. Radio, advantages, very low cost. Very short lead time. If I have and information about a college event coming up very quickly and it's going to be in an hour, I can call the local radio station, give them my credit card, and they could read the ad over the air during the next commercial break. It's that quick. I can integrate a lot of stuff. If I'm a brand and I have a retail outlet, I can get a radio broadcast from that site, drive more traffic into it. I can do a lot of stuff with broadcast media. Some disadvantages: it's a very small audience, limited listener attention. In fact, we don't listen to the radio much anymore, meaning not that we don't listen to music, but we have the radio on and we're doing other stuff. The radio's on and we're driving. The radio's on and we're working. The radio's on and we're studying. And we may not be paying a lot of attention to the ads. Social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, blogs, website, very different platforms. And each platform should deliver different strengths and weaknesses to us. For instance, just saying we're going to do something on social media, that doesn't answer the question well or describe it well enough. Are we using Twitter? Because Twitter is a younger audience. However, it doesn't give us a lot of action or a lot of lead time or some content that YouTube would give us. Facebook gives us different things. So all these different areas, Instagram, Pinterest, gives us all different things that we can connect to, but each one offers us something different. We need to communicate that. Buses, billboards, some advantages: very captive audience. People take the same bus or train to work every single day. They take the same driving route to work every single day. So you're going to see the same ads and develop a lot of frequency. Some disadvantages: bad image factors. People are kind of tired when they're at these places and not really in a good mood. So maybe that's a negative perception of your ad. Perhaps they get tired of it, this copy and creative wear out, where I'm tired of seeing this ad. I may get angry because I'm seeing the same ad day after day after day after day. When we want to make an advertisement effective, we want to identify the brand early. We want people to know what we are promoting, not just a car, but Volkswagen. Be simple, interesting, involving. Reinforce it with visuals and audio where you can. You have one chance to communicate something to a consumer. Develop that USP, that unique selling proposition, and deliver that one message to them. Another element that we can look at is this idea of personal selling. Personal selling is a one-to-one, either face-to-face, or we can use technology for this. It builds the relationship, a relationship, creating, maintaining, and enhancing a long-term relationship as opposed to this one-off sale. Mercedes was one of the companies that really developed this idea. I don't want to focus on you buying a car. I want to sell you a car every 4 years for the rest of your life. Relationship marketing is extremely important in sport, especially when you think of Pareto's principle, where 80% of your revenue is driven by 20% of your customers. 80% of my revenue, my season ticket holders, are the lifeline of my company. It's not all the people are buying one, the light users buying one game and all those people. It's person going to 81 games for baseball each year. It's the people who buy the suites and generating all that revenue. I need to develop relationships with them. I need them to be successful. Benefits of personal selling: stronger communication. I have a one-on-one relationship. I can change my message based on feedback. If I'm selling somebody a season ticket package and they say, you know what, 81 games at $5,000, way too expensive. I can say, well, what about 40 games for $2,500? 20 games for $2,000, whatever it be, I can adjust it. If I'm a TV ad, I can't do that. I can make sure the target audience pays attention, ask them questions, find out what they want, create my solutions to them. My negatives: cost. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to deliver this, especially if I'm looking to communicate to a large target audience. Sales promotions. Sales promotions are short-term promotional activities, stimulate immediate demand. A sales promotion is designed for a sale. It's a trigger. I can do brand awareness and get new distribution channels, but the main effectiveness of a sales promotion is to sell. I can do a price premium. Price premium means that I am going to do some sort of price promotion. I'm going to change the price. I can give you a coupon. I can do a buy one, get one. I can do multiple games for a certain product. And instead of buying 4 games, why don't I sell you 5 at a discount? Price, I'm doing something different with the price. A non-price is when I'm giving you something more value, like a bobblehead night or webkit or fireworks night or a concert. When we look at long-term impacts on brand equity, we see that a price premium is negative. If I'm a season ticket holder, I'm spending $30 for my tickets, and I'm seeing people around me get discounts on their tickets all the time, or a ticket dump all the time for zero, where free tickets are out there, or we're not selling enough tickets, so we're going to do 2 tickets for $20, or buy one get one free, or where it's always discounted and discounted and discounted. Why would I spend $30 for a season ticket when everyone else is getting it for 20 or 10 or 5? Long term, I'm going to lose those season ticket holders because they're not going to spend that money because it's cheaper elsewhere. I could also might be able to make more money with a non-price premium. For instance, if my ticket is $30 and that's my ticket price, and somebody's not buying it for $30, in their mind, the ticket's worth $20. So the value exchange is $20. I'm charging $30, so they're not buying it. I could lower the price through a price premium, a price promotion, and go to $20, and then they'll buy it. So I'm only making $20 on that ticket. Doing a lot of harm in brand equity, but I'm making $20 on that ticket. Or I can sell it for $30 and give them some sort of non-price premium to make up for that other 10. They want to spend $20 on the ticket. If I can get a bobblehead that the consumer puts a value of $10 on, they're going to buy that ticket. $20 in their mind for the ticket, $10 for the bobblehead. If the bobblehead costs me $5 to purchase, to store, to distribute, now I'm actually making $25 on that ticket. I'm getting $20, I'm getting $30 total, and I'm spending $5 for the bobblehead. So the non-price premium, I'm actually making $25, and the price discount, and with all the negative brand equity it's costing me, I'm only getting $20. So I might be able to make more money even on a non-price premium. Some other types of sales promotions is this idea of contests or sweepstakes. A contest is a game of skill, a sweepstakes is a game of chance, like the Monopoly game at McDonald's. States have specific laws concerning each. If you do a lot of mobile marketing, you should be aware of different contests and sweepstakes and different types of laws that would be associated with it. Public relations, another promotional element. And again, these aren't mutually exclusive. We use these together. If I want my sales promotion to be really good, if I'm having a fireworks night at a game and I want a lot of people to come, I should advertise it. It makes things more effective how these are interactive. If I have a sales promotion where I am doing a promotion, I'm going to give people tickets to a basketball game. They normally buy 50 cases from me. They're now buying 75 to get this ticket. It's helping my personal salesperson. It's giving them a more effective means. Public relations, where it identifies public attitudes. And the publics are more than just the general public or the potential consumers. A public relations campaign is deliberate and sustained activity where I'm trying to get a mutual understanding between the organization and its stakeholders. When we think of publics, we think of stakeholders. Brasington and Pettit talk about commercial publics, our customers, our suppliers, our competitors. Authority, government, trade association, regulators. If I want to build a brand new stadium and I'm going to make tax money for it, I better have a great relationship with the government. If I am a professional sports league and I'm dependent on players to play and not go on strike and develop our event, I better have a great relationship with those employees, those suppliers of labor for me. Financial investors, media. The reason why we have media relations and we have those big press boxes now in all these new stadia where, we have the buffet food and the internet and private bathrooms and an elevator that takes them up there that doesn't go, is because I want the media to be really complimentary to me. One thing why the 96 games aren't looked very fondly in Atlanta was because the media didn't get a lot of access, and a lot of parking and traffic in Atlanta created a lot of headaches, and the media took it out on the Olympics in their writing and in their telecasts. So when we look at the publics, think of all these different stakeholders. We want to create a reputation management system where we do a proactive public relations to build up some good karma, but we also practice different aspects. A crisis should be expected and prepared for. When you think of some of the just horrific instances that have happened in sport in the last few years between PED abuse or Penn State, child molestation, or, things that people have died in events and other aspects, and Title IX and sexual rapes and all this stuff that goes on, we need to be able to plan for these types of activities and be able to respond well from a marketing perspective. Who's going to answer the questions? If it's something that happens late overnight and the phone rings in the athletic department first thing in the morning, are the interns or assistant athletic directors answering the phone? And should they give some sort of interview or comment on it? Or does it go to the athletic director or the campus spokesperson or public relations or from the president or from the team coach? All this needs to be developed before this incident, this crisis happens. Because when a crisis does occur, we have a lack of control over how the story gets diffused in the marketplace, how it gets communicated. Public always assumes that the organization is guilty and it pushes back hard. How do we state our case, and who states that case is vitally important. Publicity is this idea of generating positive buzz. We see a lot of different elements that we can create through publicity. Publicity allows, or is the aspect, it's similar to advertising, but a little bit different. Advertising is paying for time in telecast or newspapers. Publicity is when they write about the story themselves. So we get a lot of publicity in media. When you look at your local newscast, you see 7 to 10 minutes delivered on local sports. ESPN is only sports. We did a promotion with Nestle Dibs, where we went to minor league baseball parks and we handed out little samples. And we used a Mini Cooper. And obviously, with that small a vehicle, we're not going to get a lot of samples out, maybe 500 or 1,000. But what we looked to do was create a story, and we measured our success based on our publicity. So we went to single A, double A, triple A markets, and we were able to count how many times the local coverage would show, today at the baseball game, they were handing out these little ice cream things. So that, for us, generating publicity, generating that buzz in the internet, digital media, broadcast media, that's what we measure our success on. Advantages of public relations, highly credible, because we're not buying that information. That's coming from, the news anchor or the sports news anchor. It's exciting. It usually does the story. It's very low cost. Disadvantages, we don't control it. In fact, if it's negative, they're going to go on that story and develop that a lot quicker than they used to. We look forward to discussing this during class further. Thank you.